Welcome back to SB Nation. I am Dan Rubenstein, joined by my good friend now, Bomani Jones. Here to talk about, with the tournament rolling and the past few days of the NBA season, seeing Nate McMillan and Mike D'Antoni lose their jobs in different ways, but pretty much they're at the same place right now. And having seen the power that college coaches are wielding in the college game, what's the difference right now between being a head coach in the NBA and being untouchable, a couple of years ago, and now not having a job, and college and sort of, making your own path?
Here's the thing. This season, there are 68 teams that, one way or another, can say that they had a good year. Mm-hmm. There are 32 teams in the NBA. Period. Like, it stops right there. You can maneuver and make people think that you're better at coaching in college all day long. You can do a bad job in college and then say, hey, would you see this recruiting class they got coming in, right? We saw a recruiting class in part probably save Ben Howland this year. We've seen recruiting classes we saw get Dino Gaudio a job years ago that as we saw, he was not qualified for. There's a lot more ways that you can trick people, and there are different measures of what success is in college and the NBA. In the NBA, win games or not. Right.
And one of the big things about Mike D'Antoni that we've discussed with Jeremy Lin and with Carmelo Anthony coming back is the fact that he has this system, this wide open system. How true is that in the NBA as it seems to be in college, where system sort of rules everything?
Yeah, but see, in college, the constant is the coach. And The coach goes and gets players that can fit his system, and then he's the absolute overlord. It doesn't work that way with grown men. And what D'Antoni wanted to do was say, hey, I've got a system, and my system has worked, and this is what we're going to do. But it doesn't work that way when you pay Carmelo Anthony $20 million and you trade heaven and earth in order to bring him in, and then you get him and everybody and their mother recognizes that you're using him poorly and he's having the worst season of his career. You as the coach have to change. D'Antoni's thing was, no, I have a system. Now, to me, that makes you a bad coach.
Right.
In college, it just makes you a coach because that's what guys do. Roy Williams has been running the same thing as long as anybody can tell. Krzyzewski clearly has a system and everybody has to be on that same page. You can go all around the country and find these guys. In the NBA, it's about your players, it's about matchups, and you need to find ways to make it work. And D'Antoni was not willing to do that.
And actively, now that when you look at the coaches who are in the NBA, I know you mentioned Phil Jackson adapting to Shaq when Phil Jackson was coaching in the NBA. Who does the best job of adapting to personnel?
Greg Popovich is great, just in general, just whatever it is that you need to do. I think you mentioned Phil. The triangle that they ran with Shaq was not the same triangle that they ran with Michael Jordan.
Right.
But you look around the league, just about everybody. Like, if you're coaching and you've had a job for a while, you're adapting to personnel. Doc Rivers is fantastic at working with the guys that he has. And that's what you got to do, because you got a general manager in the NBA. They're giving you players. They're telling you who you got to work with. You may have some input, but your job is to make the best of it.
And are there any coaches now that we're watching the tournament that you've been particularly impressed with in college about finding ways to not just run a system, but figure out how to best use their players?
It's always the little school guys. Like, Shaka Smart's the most interesting one there. But who knows what he'd do if he had the talent? That's the thing. Some guys are good at coaching little scrappy guys.
As we see rumors about him going to Illinois.
Not everybody's good at coaching. Brad Stevens is going to be the one that's interesting if he ever makes that jump. That doesn't mean he can coach good players.
Thank you very much, of course, for watching. Bomani Jones, I am Dan Rubenstein. An interesting time. NBA, college stuff all sort of happening at once, and we will see you soon. Keep on subscribing.